see an opening that you could potentially go into. But if you want to make your way out to the other side, then you are more than welcome.
I bet you I know what Skylar wants to do. Every opening I can just imagine, like, oh, dark spot.
Cave. Want to see dark place.
Well, do you want to check any out, Skylar?
Yes.
Tuck, you okay with that?
Desire to explore.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go into one.
All right. Well, as soon as you kind of decide to explore one of these caves, you hear a guy just start shouting, "Run, run, run!" You know, you look off in the distance, and he's kind of flailing his arms. You can barely see him, but you can definitely hear him shouting. And he's shouting, "It's the Iron Wind! It's the Iron Wind!" And that instantly brings terror into your hearts. Everyone knows what the Iron Wind is, and
so
you see him. And as soon you kind of see like kind of dust or something behind him, and as soon as it engulfs him, he just starts screaming and is instantly replaced with some type of like tentacle creature. He's turned inside out and stuff like that. And you can see as this kind of dust comes across the silvery outlining of this area, it's turning kind of into like a black type of substance, and like flowers start growing out of it. This tentacle thing kind of pokes out of the side of this wall, and you can definitely tell it's the Iron Wind. Like I said, is well known to you all. It's one of the kind of accidents left from one of the previous generations of this planet, and it's basically some out of control nanites that transform anything they touch at a molecular level. So if it gets on you, I mean,
we're all kind of sitting here going,
I got this.
Dad noted this.
I want my quick ability to push everyone into the cave and then put up an ice barrier.
That's actually a cool idea. Before that happens, I want to take note of the location the guy transformed. Like, are there any identifiable like landmarks that, as a quick glance, we can notice and go, "Oh yeah, okay, that's where it happened."
Oh well, his body.
It's off in the distance, right?
Yeah, it's off in the distance. You can see his body kind of transform and go inside out, and it just falls on the floor. Kind of, blood is going on the ground, and he starts screaming. He's in obvious pain, so you'll be able to find him later, most likely.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, we'll find him.
A cave that's not facing the way the wind is going.
We'll just go deep enough.
That's the one I want to go into.
Yeah, well,
if the wind's coming at you, no matter how far in you go, it's still gonna get you.
Well, the way this place is, it's kind of like a giant wind tunnel. You're down in this kind of hilly area. It's making kind of a V, and the wind is just kind of pushing in your direction.
Into the cave we go.
Yeah.
I'm with here.
And you wanted to put your ice wall up?
Yeah.
Okay. What are the costs of that ice wall?
I
believe it was one intellect point or something. Oh, the cipher?
No. What was it? I think it's an ice the magic. Ice magic.
The esoteric? Let's see.
That word. I know words.
What was it called exactly?
It's under Sheen of Ice. I'm glad I can remember it.
Oh, ice armor?
There was a barrier, yeah. It's under ice esoteries. This alternation, as an example, barriers create a wall of ice.
Oh, you don't have barrier.
No?
That's a second tier ability for nanos or jacks, I think. All right, so you pushed him in this cave. You don't have this ice ability. You kind of, I imagine you push your hands out towards this wall and nothing happens towards the entrance. Probably turning around shouting, "Don't worry, guys, I got this." And everyone just hangs out around you as nothing appears.
How big is this entrance then?
I'm gonna.
Actually, Shiro, you're having a bad day.
A little bit.
How deep is the cave?
Oh well, the cave gets darker and darker the further you
Right.
go in, but you keep running and you're not really hitting any walls. Do you guys have anything to light up?
I have minor glow globes. I'm assuming lights up the area. So
And you have torches. You have 3 torches as well.
I do. Fabulous. Where did I get those?
Part of your explorer's pack.
Hey, 3 torches.
Were your glow globes? Were those your oddity that you got? What were those?
No, those come from the explorer's pack as well.
Oh, okay. Glow globes are exactly as they sound. They're kind of a globe you hold in your hand, and they
I'll use one of those.
emit some light. Let me see how far they go. Glow globes. Page
Since I
32.
like that, like, so I'm adept to the dark. Do I see better
Not
in the
yet.
dark?
Tier 2.
Yeah, that's tier 2. A glow globe illuminates everything in a short range with a soft light. It can hover in place on its own, or it can be attached to something. The minor glow globe lasts for an hour when activated. The major glow globe functions continuously. I assume you have a minor one.
Yes.
Okay, so that's going to function for an hour when activated. So you went ahead and activated it?
Yep.
How does a glow globe activate?
Push a button.
You push a button? Okay. Well, you push a button on this glow globe and it just kind of springs to life.
And Siri comes up and says something that we don't understand.
Well,
Glow globe activated.
Yep. Well, if it's from a past technology, you wouldn't understand it. But the globe just sort of lights up, and running inside, you see kind of just a pedestal in front of you that comes up, and it's the shape of a ball.
Shape of a ball?
Yep, it kind of it starts up, and at the top of the pedestal, it kind of ends in a ball shape.
Oh. Oh, I want to look at it.
It froze, like everything froze for me for a second, so I missed the entire description.
Oh, well, you
Sorry.
you get to the end of the cave, and you come across a really thin pedestal that kind of comes up, and it's kind of chest high, and there's an orb on the top of it, kind of goldish in color, but you're not sure if the are you using a glow globe in your hand right now? Is that what that's
It's a
supposed to be?
candle. I got a
Props,
candle.
man.
I was like, hey,
Oh,
I
my
have a
goodness.
whole pack full of stuff in here that we might use later.
Okay. Well,
So does the orb that's look like the same kind of orb that I'm carrying?
no, it's completely smooth.
Okay.
I want to study it
Okay.
and try and figure out what it is.
Okay, sure.
I want to see if I've seen it before in my travels.
I just want to pick it up.
You haven't seen anything like it before.
Okay.
You feel free to ask that question. I'll just mention now that the world is so varied and random that coming across something twice in this world is most likely a non-occurrence. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but there's just so much crap people have left behind over time that
Have I
that's
seen something similar to it?
the orb Tuck is carrying, but I mean that's because they're both
Okay.
round.
Fair.
It's round.
What?
It's orby.
All right,
Blowing
so
my mind, man.
you'd
It's like
like
your glow globe.
you'd like to study it.
Circly.
So that'll be an intellect challenge. Do you have any skills with intellect at all?
Yeah, well, it's this whole, assessing importance, function, power, quality.
And so I believe you have something. You're skilled in the Numenera. It's someone was skilled in Numenera.
Oh, yeah, I'm skilled in Numenera as well, yeah.
Okay, so both of you.
Knowledge of Numenera.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, both of you
like a
can
basic.
kind of help each other. What I'm going to say is that
Plus one.
this is going to be a challenging task. I'm not sure what you're supposed to roll. Who wants to do it? Who wants to actually
will.
study the item? You'll study the item. Okay.
Yeah.
So Soul.
I'll get a +1 from soul helping.
Well, that's not how it works. Soul, you'll have to. Let's say this will be a standard difficulty that you're trying to help him with. So Soul, you'll roll one of the two.
But soul has that ability from our pasts that if we're both doing the same thing, I get a
we
assistant,
both
a +1.
get a plus one.
That's right. That's right. So you unfortunately you're either too distracted or it completely just baffles you. So you're not going to be able to help him as far as the Numenera goes, but you do have that +1 ability. So that challenging will go down to a difficult, and since you're skilled in the Numenera, that will also go down again to a demanding. So that's actually dropping it by 2 steps. So that'll be a 3.
Well, at least it wasn't a critical fail.
Well, wait, +1, right?
Well, that includes it.
Oh, gotcha.
All right,
So was
so
nicer to us than he should have been.
is it a +1 to the roll?
It's just a +1.
Oh,
to the
okay,
roll.
yeah, it was nice.
But
It doesn't matter.
I
You
could
still failed.
argue that because I have my assessing importance, quality, and function, that would be a -1 to the difficulty, and then
There you go.
knowledge of Numenera, which would be a -1.
Yep, and
then
the
I would get
+1 would be
that'd be a
3.
3. But that still doesn't give
Yeah,
me the
that
roll.
wouldn't get you a 6. So you kind of look at it and poke at it, but you can't really figure anything out. So at this point, the Iron Wind is coming closer and closer to you. And as you're kind of messing with this thing, what are the rest of y'all doing while he's kind of poking and prodding?
I don't know. He says something along the lines of, "I don't think you should be messing with that. Let's go."
Where are we gonna go? We have Iron Wind outside.
Will my infernal wall work on that?
No, nanites could probably get through an infernal wall.
Damn.
Well, as soon as you say you shouldn't be messing with that, what happens is that kind of red rays start to come out of this thing and start scanning the room, and the floor kind of nothing really happens that you can tell, but the floor opens up under each and every one of you, and you fall through.
And Tuck shouts, "See, I told you so."
As we all fall.
And since this is a GM intrusion on the entire group, I'll go ahead and award 1 XP to every single one of you. But there's no XP to share, so each one of you get XP. You fall for a little bit of a distance. And you take... Where's my falling damage chart at? Maybe I don't have a falling damage chart. I have a chart for everything except what I need at the... except for what I need at any given time.
Professional stream, folks.
Oh, yeah.
So prepared.
The best.
All right, well, let's just say... Oh, yeah, here it is. Falling. 1 point per 10 feet. So all of you kind of fall 20 feet down into the ground, causing 2 points of damage to your might pools. It's ambient damage, so it would bypass armor.
That was going to be my next question.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was.
So we all lose 2, Mike.
And luckily for all of you, when you look up, there's no light coming from above, so it seems like the holes have actually closed off. So from what you can infer is
Tuck has ran away.
what you can infer is you're probably pretty safe from the Iron Wind right now.
But what else is in here?
That's
Well-
what we have torches for.
Yeah.
Well, you have the glow globe, and what you can tell...
Oh, it's still around. It hasn't been an hour yet. Yay.
Yeah, it hasn't been an hour. It's probably been about 30 minutes or so. Y'all were probably poking and prodding for about 30 minutes. He wasn't successful, so it happened a little more quickly. And
No, Skylar wasn't successful either. Let's share the blame here.
yep, neither of you were successful. That's true. So what you can tell is that the floor is completely flat. It's completely smooth. It's that same kind of silver that you saw outside that the walls were made out of. And as far as you can see, that the light from your glow globe doesn't seem to hit any walls.
Oh, neat.
Spooky.
Well, happily we know which way south is if we want to go that way.
That's true.
And actually, does the orb that Talk have, does that show us the direction as well? No, that didn't. Never mind. Just
I
thinking.
have a thing that can tell us when it's sunrise.
True. Yeah, you know, we're totally fine.
Tell you what time of day it is. So
Right.
The silver
No
walls,
walls.
is it like reflective, or I mean, you said that
we just see the floor.
Yeah, the
floor,
floor
so-
is that same kind of... It is pretty reflective. It was reflecting the sun. It wasn't doing it a lot, But it is that same kind of silvery sheen substance, except here it's completely flat and smooth, whereas out there it was pretty rocky and hilly, maybe eroded over time. But the light from the glow globe doesn't hit any walls, so you can't see any walls.
Get up and start walking in a random direction indefinitely.
Okay. So,
I call Shiro and say, if we're going to go somewhere, let's go south, so at least we know which way we're going.
I concur.
I agree. Let's go south.
okay. So
South?
So you take out the leaf and then point it whichever way cold is?
Yeah, we
again?
won't figure out which south is, and let's go.
Okay. Well, you start walking in that direction, and this room must be absolutely massive because you walk for a good 10 or 15 minutes, and this thing still isn't reflecting off any walls. And after about that 10 or 15 minutes, you do come across what is a solid wall at this point, a solid silver wall.
Well, let's go the other way.
Well,
No.
the other way.
Let's
Let's go
follow
west.
along. No, we'll follow along the wall.
Yeah, to the west.
Okay.
This way we know.
Okay, you're making a touching motion. So are you touching the wall as you kind of follow it along?
If you want to go west, you're facing south. You want to go west, you would take a right.
Okay. As soon as you touch the wall.
Oh, great.
Why do you have to touch the wall?
Here we go.
As soon as you touch the wall, the same kind of red lights come out and start scanning the group again, and it's hard to describe what happens next. A figure kind of melds out of the wall, if you will, and walks out. It doesn't leave anything behind. There's not a man-shaped hole behind him. It just kind of melds out of the wall. And he looks at the group and speaks in some weird language you've never understood.
So Tuck says, "Hi."
And the robot, or the figure, I don't know if it's a robot or not, honestly, right now. The figure kind of looks at Tuck and makes a bunch of weird noises in a language, then ends with, he goes, hi.
Wait, he spoke English.
He said hi back, huh?
Where are we?
Yeah. Tuck
I'm
is kind of
asking
at a
him.
loss for words of what to ask him now because he replied.
I'm asking, where are we?
Okay.
the guy.
The guy kind of starts talking in some weird language again, and at the end he just goes, hi, where are we?
Crap.
Oh, he
So
was
it's like a recording device of coming up. I want to study it as they're all talking. I just want to look at it and figure it out. Not touch it necessarily,
Okay.
maybe a little, but just see if we can figure. Yeah, exactly. Just a little, maybe like poke it.
Poke it a little.
They
see
see what
if we
happens
figure
when I
it-
touch a wall. I mean,
Yeah, figure if we can figure anything out about it.
Okay.
can I help him?
Yeah,
And
sure.
So while they're doing that, and I don't want to interrupt what they're doing, but while they're doing that, Tuck is going to pull out that rod that he has. It pushes a button and says some sentence in some language, and he's just going to push that to see what he says. So
Okay. The robot goes through its thing again where it talks in a different language. Then it speaks the exact thing that the button you press, it says it at the end there.
Cool.
And then
So, repeats.
It's a recording,
and
or it's recording what we're saying.
then you want to go ahead and study it.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and say this is a really weird object. So we'll say this is a challenging task as well for a normal person. So let's do the same thing again. If are you gonna be the one that studies it?
Yes, I will be the one who studies it.
Okay. So Soul, let's go ahead and have you do a standard action, see if you're able to help him. So that would be a 2. You'd have to get a 6. Well, you're just kind of you must be just in awe that whatever this thing is in front of you is mimicking what you're saying. you kind of ignore that he's helping you, but you'll get the +1 on that because you're trying your best to help him with these things. And since you're skilled in the Numenera, that goes down to a 4, a difficult. So go ahead and roll for a 12.
And trained in function and power, importance, quality. Does that help us on this one?
This wouldn't help you on
It's
that
up to
one.
you. Okay. Hell yeah.
I don't know what you rolled.
Didn't I roll a 21?
No, you rolled a 20 plus 1.
Yeah. Doesn't that work? Oh, it doesn't understand that?
No, you didn't roll a. Yeah, you didn't roll a dice. You just told it to add 20 and 1 together.
I get it. Makes sense.
But you were excited about the.
I was. I thought that worked. I was like, hell yeah. All right, it didn't work.
No, it didn't work. You just look at it. You do notice that it's completely smooth and just smooth and that silver color all around it.
Did it do anything when I poked it?
No, it didn't do anything when you poked it.
I'd like to take the rope out of my bag and tie it up. I don't trust it.
Fair enough, I guess.
Do we know how big this thing is? I mean,
It is about the same size as all of you. If all of you are about average size, I imagine. No one has anything weird going on. The silver thing's about average size.
And it looks like a human, like with arms and legs and everything. It's just silver.
Yeah.
Tie it up anyway.
Okay. You tie it up. Well, you tie it up, and it doesn't really react at all to anything you're doing to it. So you successfully tied up this creature thing.
Good.
As you're tying it up, its head does kind of follow you, because I imagine you had to go all around it to get the rope and stuff. And its head does swivel on a full 360-degree axis, just following you around.
Anyone else have?
You said full 360? Like.
Yep, the head turns completely around as he's following Shiro as he's tying him up.
So Tuck is thinking to himself that this thing has some very useful parts that he could probably use. So he pulls some tools out of his light tools bag, and like a screwdriver, I'm sure, a pair of pliers or whatever, and tries to find a good, a seam or a nut or screw or something to start unscrewing it.
Well, you're looking around, just looking around the whole thing. It's completely smooth. There's no nuts or anything that you can see that you could unscrew. And as you're walking around, it just says, "Hi, where are we?" And you can hear it's kind of getting more tonality in its voice the more it talks.
So it doesn't sound like us. It has its own voice.
Yes.
Does it sound aggressive?
Well, if it was aggressive, it would have killed us by now.
Especially
with you tying it up.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound aggressive. It's just saying, "Hi, how are you?"
How
Or what? Where are we? Not how are you.
That's a good question. Where are we? Should we walk along the wall without touching it this time?
We could talk to it and see if it learns our language. Because if it's adapting its voice, keep talking to it.
As you're kind of talking out loud, he goes, "Talk to it and learn the language."
So it might be learning something, or it might just be a message to the next person who gets lost down here.
Wait. Nearest, you have books, right?
Yeah.
See if he can read.
See if it's on one of your Pokemon cards.
See if he can read.
At this point, it says, "Hi, talk to it and learn the language."
That seems to almost have validity in what we're saying. Like it's comprehending to an extent, maybe. Like that actually seemed to make sense. Maybe. I pause and I look at it to see if it repeats what I just said.
It says comprehending.
It is comprehending us. It's learning. Re-ask the question of where are we?
All right. It sits there and thinks for a second. It starts talking in that other language again, and then it says, "You are here."
It's because it doesn't know the words for where we are. It doesn't know our words yet. It doesn't have our vocabulary. I like the idea of taking out the book, so I'll take out the book and I'll show it to him. See if it can figure out our language.
Okay. Are you just kind of how are you doing it?
I'm going to hold up the book like this.
Well, he can't hold it right now.
He's tied up, right? So I'm going to flip the pages slowly and let it see if it reads, and I'll read along with it. Well, I'll ask Soul to read for me. I can't read.
Okay.
So I'll be like, Skylar, just read the words to it.
Well, as you kind of hold the book up to it, the red kind of line starts going over the book, and it actually turns kind of a bluish color.
Okay.
And it scans back and forth, and then the color goes away.
Turn the page.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
As we turn the page as we finish it.
All right. As you scan it and turn, what is this book that you're showing them? I guess
it's my book about Numenera. Numenera.
Okay.
Whatever this.
What would
the nanites?
What would be inside? What would the contents of the book be?
I imagine, since my guy comes from like a psionic background, it's more about communicating with the nanites around us and how the nanites impact the mind and how the mind interacts with the nanites to activate them and to get them to, do things like to transition them or change them.
Well, as you sit here and start turning the page and scanning it, some time goes by, and the glow orb obviously goes away, because I imagine you're sitting there turning every page as it goes through. And do you relight a torch or anything, or get the other glow orb, or
somebody else? I
don't think
I'll use mine.
There you go. They all have the Jacks all have them, don't they?
Okay. Well, you pull out your torch, and it starts making some light. It's more of a light than a glow globe does, so you can see the light out further. And after a while, you manage to get the robot or creature or whatever this thing is to. I keep saying robot because in my mind it's reminding me of like a Cylon or something right now. but you kind of toasters. After a while, you read the whole book, and it kind of looks around at the party and walks towards the wall and melds back into it.
It says, no!
False. It couldn't walk. It was tied up.
Well, you tied up its hands.
Entire body. I had 50 feet of rope.
So he falls into the wall.
All right. Well, what happens then is that he kind of melds through the rope. It's really an odd thing that you witness. The rope doesn't actually move until he's melded through it completely, and it kind of falls to the ground, and then he goes into the wall.
Okay.
So I follows behind him
Yeah,
and tries to push his arm in through the wall.
The wall is completely solid.
I'm just going to pick up my rope.
I'm going to knock on the wall.
Okay. Nothing happens.
Okay. Then I say, "Are you there?"
No response.
No. I guess follow along the wall, since he disappeared.
Are there any markings, like, at all on the wall or on the floor that we can see?
Not that you can see it.
Section?
It seems to just be completely solid.
All right. Well, I guess back to following the rule.
What was in that book? You pissed him off.
It's a study guide about Numenera.
Okay.
Maybe he saw himself in there.
I don't know.
I
Maybe
guess
he'll come back.
follow along the wall for now. We
All right.
can't really do it if we're just gonna stand here wasting the globe light.
Well, you're on a torch now. I think.
Oh, torch.
Do you guys want to follow? I guess if you're facing the wall, do you want to go left or right?
Well, we want to go west.
Yeah.
So it'd be
So
right.
that would be to the right.
Yep, to the
of
right.
where we were initially facing. Yep.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
It says, do not touch the wall. Nobody touch the wall.
But
As you start walking, you walk. I mean, it's incredible how big this area is, and as you're kind of walking, after about 10 or 15 minutes or so more of walking, a figure kind of comes out immediately out of the wall, and when he comes out, he's kind of dressed in the same clothes that, let's say, since Skylar, or since Nearest was the one kind of showing him the book and stuff, he's kind of dressed in the same clothes as you are, but
It's good style.
it has the facial features on this person now kind of look like all of you melded together.
Oh, that's neat.
And he looks at all of you. He has his hands behind his back, and he says, "Hello, how are you?"
I am good. How are you?
I'm
Oh,
still lost.
We're very lost.
Where are we?
We are.
all right, he responds first. He says, I'm doing pretty good myself. All of you are lost down here. I've been wanting a visitor for a long time.
Were you the same guy that came out of the wall before?
Yes, you've been walking on top of me this whole time.
What?
Yeah, well then.
Wait.
I
You're walking-
apologize.
We're walking on top of you. You're this entire thing.
Oh, yes, of course. And as soon as he says that, the entire room kind of lights up, and from a light source, you can't even tell where it's from. And he says, of course. And what you notice is really peculiar, because even though you've been walking for so long, the room is about 20 feet in diameter in a circle around you.
That's neat.
I didn't notice us turning at all.
We didn't. It's a bubble around us. We're walking through him.
Oh, I have to
Maybe.
change that. There's a wall on one side as well, because you were following the wall.
We followed the wall, but didn't realize we were actually turning in the circle, I'm guessing.
Well, you weren't turning.
That's how well you said it's a circular room.
Right. But we're following the wall, and my guess is that the wall is the bubble. We're like in a bubble, and we're going through
I see.
silver stuff.
Gotcha.
I ask him if he's the caretaker of this, or if he is this.
He kind of thinks for a second and says, "Caretaker. That's an interesting choice of words. I don't take care of anything. I simply am here."
You have no function?
He thinks again for a second and says, "My function is to just be. I
That's the
am
best
merely
function
here."
possible.
How
Can
long
you
have
show... Yeah.
What? Which
How
question?
long have you been here?
Thank you.
He thinks about it for a second. You can definitely tell he's kind of looking down at the ground, and he says, "What unit of time do you measure with?"
Years?
Seconds.
Minutes.
Years.
Days.
Years.
He
Centuries.
thinks in a day, and he says, "According to my calculations, this planet rotates on a 24-hour scale. Would that be considered a day?
28.
28-hour
28.
scale? That's what I meant."
Yes, that is a day.
Readjust your calculations.
And he asks again, "What signifies a year?"
How many days are in a year in Numenera?
That's a good question.
65?
So Tuck, not being the smartest, person in the whole group, but he does say it's every revolution around the sun.
Okay. He thinks and he says, "That's interesting. 365 of your days would be one revolution around your sun."
Yes.
Calculating.
No.
Entering the matrix?
No,
Accessing?
that was me
Accessing.
typing, not him.
No, I know.
And he sort of thinks and he says, "According to my studies, do all 7 of the planets follow this same set of rules?"
Seven
Seven?
planets in our
So those are
solar
the 7 pasts, right? We know that, right?
We're in 9 though, so wouldn't it be 8?
Right.
Seven
Well, he would be
seven
from the
planets.
second
There's he's speaking in actual planets.
So in our solar system.
Mhm.
I imagine not. We would collide.
Would we understand that, though?
That's really up to if your characters know anything about astrology or anything like that.
Mine probably doesn't. I can't imagine anything in his background that would lead him to understand the world.
Well, do we all have basic schooling? Because I would think something like how many planets in the solar system we would learn.
No, in these times there wouldn't be any like basic schools of any type. I mean, you're thinking back to like medieval. I don't know if they went to school in medieval times and stuff like that, but I can't imagine it was very common. Maybe reserved for like the noble.
I'd like to just speak up and say, you've clearly been here a long time.
Well, like my character is immediately curious about these planets, right? Like he wants to know more.
Are we?
But I just want to see if anybody else or anybody's character would actually know what he means by that, because my character is going to blurt out like, "What 7 planets?"
Okay, so if you blurt out what 7 planets, he sits there and he goes, the 7 other celestial bodies in your system. And at this point, he points over to the solid wall next to you, and it kind of opens a portal of sorts. And what you notice is it starts to get harder and harder to breathe. And when you look through the portal, it's not actually sucking you out, but it seems to be sucking the oxygen out of this room and breathe. And when you look through it, you're actually looking at the cosmos as if it were. It's kind of zooming like through the planets and things like that. So you're seeing the 7 planets in the solar system.
I activate my cipher for the atmosphere.
Okay.
For a day, so that we can create a bubble of good air, so we don't have to close that portal.
Yep.
So
that,
1 foot.
Yeah, that's 1 foot. You've got enough for you. So you're.
Oh, it's only for a personal.
It's 1 foot. Yeah,
You're now okay.
Okay, well, never mind. I
goes
thought it
to
was bigger. I thought it was larger.
Mm-mm.
Never mind. I tell him that we can't breathe.
Okay. He looks over at y'all, just kind of. I imagine y'all are clutching your chest and stuff like that, trying to breathe, and he just says, "Interesting," and closes the portal.
Lab rats. Are we the first to meet you?
He says no. He says, "I've had many guests throughout my existence."
Did any stay here?
No, they never stayed. They all have attempted to leave.
Okay.
Attempted?
I don't know why they would want to leave.
Did any leave stuff behind?
Yes, a few of them have left their belongings behind.
Can you show us this?
A kind of a box appears in front of you and then goes back down, and just a crumple of stuff appears in front of you.
Oh, I want to rummage through it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is like the first, it's like, stop.
Look through things. Must explore.
New things.
Okay, so as soon as it happens, you guys just jump on this pile of stuff that appears in
Big
front.
eyes.
More or less, yes.
Okay.
I mean, literally, you go like, oh, well, I'm going to look through this.
I have a search ability.
Okay. Do you want to actually spend like an hour doing a full scavenge check of this?
I have a searching skill. Would that still take an hour? Or?
It would take an hour. It's going to take like an hour to kind of look around. Since everything's kind of in this one little area, let's say it'll take about.
He knows the function of these things as well.
Okay. We'll say for Soul's question, it'll take about 30 minutes. You have to go through and see what you think is useful and stuff like that.
I'm totally game on that. Ask him what all this stuff is as we go through it, if he knows.
He looks at it and he says, I don't know what the function is. I've never needed these items.
Okay.
Reasonable answer.
It is.
And if you want to do the search function, then roll a 1d6, and that will signify how many items, how many ciphers or oddities you found. Well, you did your best. So you go ahead and roll me a D100 for the one useful item you found in this pile of stuff.
It's like no luck.
You're doing your best, and that's really all you can hope for. 62. All right, that will be a poison explosive. As we go down to it. Come on. Poison explosive. This is a pill, ingestible or injectable liquid. You can put it in like a lipstick, a false fingertip, or a ring with a needle. We'll go ahead and say this is kind of a liquid in a vial of some kind that's glowing, almost a pale blue color. And
I don't want to. I can only have 2, and I don't want poison on me.
yeah, you'll also have to roll an intelligence for this. So go ahead and roll a 1d20 for a goal of 2. And since you're skilled with Numenera, that would go down to a 1.
Me having high intelligence, would that add to it at all?
That wouldn't add to it. That if you wanted to apply effort to it to move it down even further.
Hey!
Oh, that's not bad.
That's a lot better than a 1.
Yeah. A 19 would signify a +3 damage or a minor effect. So this poison, once the substance enters the bloodstream, it travels to the brain and reorganizes itself into an explosive that detonates when activated, inflicting 10 points of damage, ignoring armor. And you'll roll to determine the means of detonation. So if you can roll another 100 for me.
That is so cool.
I don't
I
want
love
it.
these things.
I don't want it. You guys, do you want any of you guys want it?
Well, you rolled a 19, so and that's gonna give you a minor effect. And since there's not really any guidelines on what a minor or major effect is, I'm gonna say that you notice this vial has some type of strange coating around it, which is keeping it from interacting with the other ciphers in your possession.
So I can have a third?
You can hold this one as a third one.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And what did you roll? You got a 93. 93 is the victim is no longer within the range of the detonator. So that's the means of detonation. So as soon as the victim kind of gets out of your range, he's gonna explode.
Oh, that's so cool.
So what was the damage? 10?
It's gonna be 10 points of damage, ignoring armor.
Oh, that is so awesome.
You gotta put that on your crossbow bolts.
All right.
Got to give it to the mysterious stranger.
He's the only guy that can show us the way out of here. And you want to avoid...
Not this mysterious stranger. I'm talking about a mysterious stranger in this to the city, the town. All right. Well, I'll ask this guy if he can teach somebody how to open that kind of portal. As you know, Sol is searching.
Okay. He looks at you and says, "You are made of organic material.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot open a portal like this." Or he calls it a gateway.
Okay. Gateway.
Zero.
Never mind.
Okay.
So you said that his face is made up of the different facial features of us, right?
Yeah. Kind of like
So
if you take one of those internet things that make the baby, he's like one of those babies of all of you, except he's grown up.
Okay, it's kind of creepy. So
it's definitely unnerving.
Tuck asks him, "What's wrong with your face?"
Yes. I mean, it makes sense.
He says, "Do you not find this form desirable?"
Oh my God, no!
What are you saying, Doc?
What would you like me to look like?
A puppy.
I think Tuck would say a puppy.
Okay. He says, "What does a puppy look like?"
We can't talk to a puppy. We cannot talk to a puppy. Don't make him be a puppy.
And before we continue on much further, it's 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock for, I think all of you are Eastern time. What's kind of the time limit y'all are looking at? Who has to?
3 a.m.
3 a.m.
I can't go that late. I got work in the morning.
Come on, Sol, too.
I can't.
Couple more hours.
Would you like to go one more hour? Would that be okay?
I can do one, yeah, but after that, I can't.
Okay.
Tal, 1 hour. 1 hour.
Well, okay. I'll say it's going to end within the hour.
Okay, cool.
All right. Well,
So we all die.
Right?
Gateway opens.
Got my
cut
rations.
through.
he as soon as you ask him, turn into a puppy. He asked you, "What is a puppy?"
Don't. No.
I interject to say, I like you how you are. I think
Yes.
you look very good.
You're fine.
Ah.
And I asked him if he can teach us anything.
He says, "What would you like to learn about?"
Everything.
How to leave this area?
Yeah. I would like to know. You said people attempted to leave.
Well,
Does
as
that
as you
mean none
say,
of
how
them
to
were
leave
able
this
to?
area, he kind of says, "Why would you want to leave?"
I don't want to leave.
Shush, Nearest.
I don't. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's great, but
I got this. I got
we
this.
have no
Fine.
food here. Go ahead, Shiro. You got this.
I like to use my lies and trickery to tell him that we are on an important quest and that we will return after the quest is complete.
Oh, he's learning from me. Isn't that awesome?
Okay. Go ahead and roll. This is going to be an intellect roll. And I'm going to say this is simple.
Simple.
A one
With-
difficulty.
Wait, is that with lies and trickery ability?
Okay,
Skill?
if you're putting your skill into it, that would make it a 0, and
I
you
win.
don't have to roll against that. He believes you. He says, "A great quest are you on? You are on, or something like that." He doesn't talk like Yoda.
Is he tongue-tied like Tuck?
A great quest you are on.
Then he says to you, "Then you would like to complete it."
Yes.
Complete the quest you must.
And you promise you will come back.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Okay. He kind of opens. He motions towards that flat wall that y'all are by, and he says, "Very well. I look forward to your return." And opens it up, and it seems to be a gateway into right past the kind of area you're in, going into like kind of a brownish field of sorts.
I asked him before we go, can you give me a book like the one I showed you that shows me how to speak your language? So we can communicate when we come back?
He speaks our language now.
Yeah, but I want to speak his language.
He looks at you and he says, "I do not yet know enough about your language to instruct you in the ways of my language."
Can you work on it? So that when we come back, you'll have one available?
If you-
Yours is gonna get us killed.
No, we want to learn. There's stuff here. There's neat things.
You
You're
know
not
what?
cautious enough like me.
he kind of alludes to the fact that if you bring him more books, then he might
Okay.
be able to, learn more about your language eventually.
Okay.
Sounds good.
And
I leave the area.
he's like, get
I'm
out
outta here.
now.
It's like, we're out. Like, fine, we'll go.
I'll be able to remember how to get back though, because
Mhm.
I've experienced it now. We don't even need a map.
That's true. And he kind of mentions as you're walking out, he kind of mentions the fact that the device you found earlier will now respond favorably to all of you.
Oh, awesome.
Which device?
The
one
orb
that
thing.
the orb at the. Do we have it, or is it in the cave still?
No, it's in the
on the
pedestal,
pedestal.
but it's still up there.
Cool.
Okay, so as soon as y'all walk through this portal or gateway of sorts, if you turn around, it's actually not there.
That's fine.
I make note of the surrounding area so
Mhm.
I can familiarize myself with it.
All right. Well, what?
I make my way to where that guy died.
Okay.
It's in the right direction.
Yeah.
Has the wind
yeah.
gone away?
The Iron Wind is. I mean, it's y'all have been down there for hours. It's turning night now. I guess. And if you make your way to the body, I will allow you to roll a D100. We'll say this guy has 1 cipher on him.
Oh, look at that.
Wow.
100.
I wonder if that means.
Means you get the cipher that has the zeros on it. And
Yeah,
as
but
you,
usually that's like, the super special thing.
Mhm. As you kind of walk up to the body on the floor, you notice, I'm not sure how much you know about anatomy, but it appears that he's inside out. And there's kind of a tentacle, a tentacle that's fleshy and inside out as well, just kind of flapping back and forth and kind of making a squishing sound as it hits the side. And for the sake of this, since you already rolled, we'll just say you managed to avoid the tentacle while you're searching this body, because it doesn't have eyes. It's just kind of flopping around, making splashy sounds.
So Tuck walks over there with his great sword and he chops off the tentacle.
There you go. I mean,
The tentacle just falls to the ground and doesn't move. It kind of shivers a little bit, but nothing else happens of it. The part that is attached to it is still moving around though, back and forth, but obviously not causing any danger now. You find one item on him, and let's have you roll a 2,
okay.
and then
Does
that'd
that
be a
include
1.
my
Yep.
Numenera ability and
Mhm.
the. Okay.
So you'd move that down to a 1.
Okay.
Let's see. You got an 18. Awesome. Perfect. You get when held up against a solid surface, this panel allows the user to see through up to 2 feet of material. This panel works only if the cipher's level is higher than the material's level. So you need to roll a 1d6 plus 4 to find the cipher's level. And the description is it's just kind of a glass panel of sorts. And the effect lasts for 1 minute. So this is level 6. Awesome.
Cool. Awesome. I'll grab that. Will having 4 items for a relatively short period of time cause me discomfort of any significance?
What happens is that at the beginning of every day, the mechanical terms of it is in the beginning of every day, I roll to see if interactions happen. If interactions happen again, I roll on the table.
Okay, so like interactions would, well, I guess we'll find out. I'll keep
The
it for now.
worse, the longer you, the more items you hold, the worse it can be. I roll a die and add plus 10 for every extra Numenera you're holding, or
Okay,
extra
cool.
cipher.
I'll grab it for now.
Okay. And what would y'all like to do now?
Continue on.
To the town.
Yes.
To the town?
Or destination.
Glavis.
Okay.
That's the place.
There, away we go.
Well, the journey all the way to Glavis is actually uneventful. You make it all the way there. It takes you a few more days.
Did
For
we
the
get our
for
mic
the
back
sake
from
of ease, and you're carrying that Eve, we'll go ahead and roll just one time instead of rolling.
Okay.
You know, I don't want to sit there and roll 8 times for 8 days and just hope that something bad comes up.
And I'm rolling what?
Let me.
520? 10.
So you would roll a D100 and plus 10.
And this is where I blow up. Oh, there you go.
11. So nothing happens.
Oh,
You
About
are
as low as a roll as I can get.
you are good to go.
Awesome.
So that's one day. Now, whenever you get to Glavis, the city you are making your way to, it's a really big city. I mean, this is the capital of all of Ansuan, and in the city, where's Glavis at? In the city, it appears as you walk in that. And as you walk around the city, that it's actually 3 different cities that have kind of grown together of sorts and melded into, one city naturally over the course of time. And what would y'all like to do here?
So would Tuck know where the king resides to deliver the orb?
He wouldn't know, but let's assume he asks a guard around him, and
Yeah, sure.
and that guard kind of tells him it's off past the city in the royal garden.
Can I ask the guard to escort us?
Yeah, sure. You want to just go straight to the place?
Pretty much.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything else here we want to do.
Have we
Well, at least initially.
have we gotten our might back from that fall?
Yes. You would have rested during your trip. Normally we'd role play the days more and more. But just for the sake of today, since I don't really have anything prepared at all, isn't it impressive what I've come up with today on absolutely nothing?
I'm totally impressed, actually.
He wasn't prepared for our preparedness.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think it's awesome.
And-
You've done amazing.
Awesome.
Anyway,
He
we're about to-
underestimated our excitement.
We're about to complete our first quest, guys. So
Yeah, exactly. Well, he takes
this is
you
where we get jailed and thrown into prison.
Well,
I know.
he takes you all the way to the kind of the royal garden area, and it's interesting because when you get to this area, it's just this huge field, and the guard kind of takes you to the edge of the city, and he says the castle is 10 miles that way.
This is a really big city.
It's actually not a city. You're on the edge of the city. And he's pointing in the direction the castle is, and he says it's 10 miles that way. And in the ninth world, they might not use miles and stuff like that, but for the ease of our sake, instead of calling it like
Can you get us a carriage?
clappers or something, he said,
I mean, we're on a mission for your king, and we're emissaries. So can you get us a carriage so we can get there?
he says, sure, you can have a carriage. And he kind of walks off, and a carriage kind of comes around the corner and says, the guard told me you needed a ride to the castle.
Yeah, we do. Let's go.
Yay, thank you.
Okay. And
Sorry, Shiro. We'll look for it on the way back.
what happened? What happened? Oh, then here's the bathhouse. What did he
Always made
do?
me do a spit take.
It's because I named my panel, I think. The panel of
The
thinking,
panel
right?
of
So
thinking.
it
Oh,
goes through the wall.
I got you. Okay.
Men.
All right.
I have the remote viewer. Come on.
So
It works for an hour.
Yeah,
So
it's true.
he-
She has a better one.
he takes you all the way up to the palace gates, and he kind of acts as a tour guide of sorts.
Awesome. I like that.
And as y'all are riding, he says, "We're going up to the castle for King Assaur Mantir, and you all are probably wondering why there's so much field here. Well, the king is a pretty interesting man. Back in when we were first introducing this kingdom, the king of the area kind of decreed that no one shall build a house within 10 miles of the castle, and so no one has ever built a house within this area."
Must be a really lonely king. 10 miles? There's not a lot of people that would want to make that trip.
So Tuck says
And-
to the
I'm sorry. As you kind of, it's pretty well known that this area, this land that you're in, operates pretty self-sufficiently. The king doesn't really do much in his day-to-day, governing of the kingdom. He pretty much hangs out in his castle, and everyone in this region of Ansuin is, they do whatever their local laws have. So that kind of goes in with the fact that this castle is kind of just out 10 miles away from the capital city.
All right. Well, since he's our tour guide and he's giving us all this great information, ask him about the basics of the city. You don't have to go over it right now, but if there's any important places to visit, good places to eat, the local bathhouse, all the important things of what the city has to offer and what he knows about it.
Yeah, he gives you a kind of a rundown of stuff that you could do. And if you're looking for something later, just remind me that you were talking to him, and you'll find it.
Awesome.
And when what did Tuck want?
Sure. So Tuck was just going to ask the guard, could you please spell the king's name very slowly?
Yeah, let me. Let me, I will imprint it in your mind using some type of
King of
text
ass
method.
something. I don't know what the king's name is. Oh, there
Thank
you go.
you.
There you go.
Because I was gonna spell it ass sour, but you know.
A sour man tier.
That's how I had it spelled. Ass sour mantis or mantier.
Why is he always so secluded?
Well, he just told us because a king years upon years ago decreed that nobody would build a house within 10 miles of the castle.
So
Probably
the king's a figurehead.
Well, that king back then was probably doing bad and nefarious things.